All right, let's just jump right into this. You know how sometimes you stumble across something online that's just so completely chaotic you can't look away? Well, that's what we're dissecting today. It's this YouTube horror compilation called Night of Christmas. And honestly, it's a total whirlwind of random scenes and really jarring quotes. It feels like it's designed to be confusing. So, our job? Let's try and find the method in all this madness.
So the whole thing kicks off with these moments that feel like they have zero context. We get dropped right into a scene, and bam, we're hit with this line, spoken with this weird intensity. You are Santa Claus. No setup, no nothing. Just this bizarre statement.
And before you can even wrap your head around that, something totally different pops up. A title card that says, Night of the Blood Moon. Okay, so we've just jumped from a strange encounter with Santa to something that sounds way more supernatural and ancient. The whiplash is definitely the point here.
And then, just to make sure we're completely thrown off balance, we're plunged into this deeply unsettling domestic scene. You hear a kid's voice, sounds like it's from behind a door, whispering, "Mom doesn't feed me." So in just a few seconds, we've gone from Santa to werewolves to possible child abuse. It's a lot.
Okay, so this is really the big question, right? What is the thread holding all of this chaos together? Is there even one? Or is the whole point that there isn't a clear connection? This is the puzzle the video gives us, and we're going to try to solve it by looking for patterns in the noise.
The first pattern we can pull out of this mess is actually a horror classic. It's all about rules being broken. You know, the theme of getting a clear warning and then watching the terrible things that happen when someone ignores it. It's pretty much the foundation of so much horror storytelling.
And what's so interesting is just how blunt these warnings are. I mean, we get these explicit rules for an Airbnb with a creepy doll and for a babysitting job. The danger isn't hidden at all. It's spelled out for you. And these rules, they aren't just for the characters. They're basically a promise to us, the audience, of what's about to go down.
And here's the thing you gotta understand about horror. These rules aren't really there to help the characters survive. No, they're a contract with us, the viewers. The second a rule is stated out loud, we all know it's gonna get broken. And that's where all the tension comes from. It's a narrative trick to guarantee a terrifying payoff. Okay, so from warnings that are ignored, let's move on to another big theme that keeps popping up. Cursed objects. You know, these everyday things, a lot of them gifts, that end up carrying some horrible price. And the video gives us two perfect side-by-side examples of this.
Yeah, and you can see the pattern so clearly right here. On one hand, you've got this expensive antique from a cheating husband. On the other, a Halloween decoration that's supposed to honor a dead partner. In both situations, an object that should have been about love or remembrance becomes, well, an instrument of pure terror.
All right, let's get into our third theme here. And this one is pretty much where the whole compilation gets its name. It's the corruption of icons and traditions that we usually think of as joyful and celebratory.
This is such a classic horror movie, right? You take something that feels safe, like Santa Claus, and you make it monstrous. And this video just does it over and over. Christmas Eve isn't cozy, it's terrifying. Santa Claus is some kind of questionable, scary figure. And they even twist folklore by throwing in a reference to Baba Yaga, calling her the Christmas witch.
And they even give this whole subversion of time and tradition a structure. So in the werewolf part, we see this countdown. Day 1, day 7, day 15. It's all building towards day 28, the night of the blood moon. It's like they've taken the idea of an advent calendar and turned it into a doomsday clock for a supernatural curse.
You know, the source material actually spells out its own lore for us, which is pretty cool. This text is pulled right from the video, and it defines the specific power of the blood moon. By laying out these rules, it makes the supernatural fear feel grounded in something specific, something legendary.
And you can really feel the emotional whiplash of all this twisting of icons in this one line. A character who was obviously terrified of Santa is now pleading with him. "Forgive me, Santa Claus. I thought you were mean." It just perfectly captures the disorientation. Is he good? Is he evil? The video loves to live in that ambiguity.
So we've spotted the patterns. We've got the broken rules, the cursed objects, and the twisted traditions. Now let's put it all together and finally answer our big question. What is this thing really?
And this is really the main takeaway. The confusion isn't a mistake. It's the whole point. Night of Christmas isn't one single story. It's an anthology, like a mixtape of horror tropes that just hits you one after the other without a break. It's supposed to feel like you're frantically channel surfing through all the scariest movies at once.
I mean, just look at this list. These are all the ingredients we've been talking about. You've got your werewolves and ghosts for the supernatural stuff, the haunted dolls and creepy kids for that psychological dread, some slasher-style home invasion fears, and it's all wrapped up in those corrupted holiday traditions we mentioned, built on that foundation of rules that you know are going to be broken.
And when you think about it, this structure is kind of perfect for its medium, right? It's horror built for the internet. It doesn't ask you to sit still for 90 minutes. It grabs your attention in these short, super intense bursts. By jumping from one type of fear to the next, it makes sure that if one thing doesn't get you, the next one probably will. The chaos is how it works.
So, all of this leaves us with one last, kind of fascinating question to chew on. As our attention spans keep changing, is storytelling going to change too? Is this kind of horror medley? You know, a playlist of scary moments instead of one single plot? A peek into where the whole genre is headed? It's a pretty scary thought, isn't it?